Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watch Your Realms video. This time around, we're gonna be testing the other three units. Of course, there's gonna be three separate videos. But the first one that we really want to focus on, I think it's the easiest out of the mix because it's pretty straightforward where people are gonna actually use him, and that's Dr. Van Helsing. So he's a piercer, marksman with the Nightmare and Piercer faction. And if we take a look at his stats, it's nothing too crazy. Almost 4,000 attack, 11k HP. That's a pretty standard attack interval. And yeah, nothing really noteworthy to take note of here. Cost-wise, it's pretty high. We are at 22 cost, which is very on par with units like Razak, Nyx, as well as Kai as well before you get him on High Awakenings. So I think you guys see where this is going towards, and you can see the range here. It's the same, Razak, Nyx range that we have going on. So when it expands, it's gonna expand like one tile forward on everything. So yeah, that's his skills. He does not have an intro video, unfortunately. I wish they did because he was featured in Count Dracula's video. Yeah, it's for some reason, there's no video for him, and then Lady Mina's video is broken, and this free unit doesn't have one either, so I don't know what's going on. I really would have thought that they would have placed videos in all four of them. Alright, so Dr. Van Helsing, let's take a look at his kit. First of all, talent. Each basic attack loads 4 mithril bolts. You can see the mithril bolts right over here. And after loading 12 bolts, he triggers a special attack where it rapidly fires all mithril bolts at target in the basic attack range. And it prioritizes the bolts itself, prioritize attacking targets not inflicted with mithril shrapnel. So what is mithril shrapnel we'll see in a bit. And it reduces the damage dealt to targets inflicted with mithril shrapnel to 10%. So it means that basically, once they have the mithril shrapnel on them, he's not going to do any damage to them, and you'll understand why in a bit when we run through his full kit. So each bolt deals 40% damage, and then inflicts mithril shrapnel, 30% chance to explode when it takes damage, and giant X damage from the caster, dealing 150% AOE damage for up to 5 nearby enemies. And enemies carrying mithril shrapnel will be inflicted with vulnerability of 20% for 5 seconds. So basically every 3 attacks, he's going to be casting mithril shrapnel, which is going to result in the vulnerability. And the very big part of his kit is going to be coming from the AOE damage that you get from actually, triggering the X attack when proccing the mithril shrapnel charges. Alright, basic attack, 120% damage up to 5 enemy units. It's single hits to all 5 units. It's not an AoE hit. So I think Blight Collar's Claw might be good for him. The Sharpshooter's Crest as well. I don't think Spirit Siphon will be good because it's attacking so many units at once. And then Keen Insight, this is the first passive. After each talent special attack is triggered, an additional Giant X attack is triggered, dealing 600% AoE damage up to 8 enemies around the furthest target in range. So it's a huge multiplier, and we do have to see each talent special attack. I'm going to assume the special attack is from triggering the mithril shrapnel. We have to test this out, because I don't think it is for triggering the mithril bolts. Otherwise, it's going to be a crap ton of damage. Basically, every 3 hits, he's going to get 600% AoE damage, which sounds pretty bonkers. So I'm going to assume that it's the mithril shrapnel proccing the X attack that actually triggers this passive. And then second passive, Giant X attack executes enemies with HP below 20%, excluding elite and bosses. We don't really need to guess too hard what this is made for. It's obviously going to be for Zerbus Matrix. And killing an enemy with the Giant X attack and mithril shrapnel blast damage restores 50 rage to the hero. So it basically just allows him to gain back rage a little bit quicker for him to cast more of his ultimate. And execution is up to 20%, rich regen, that's at 50. We need to see the cost of his ultimate to see how good that is, because from what we're seeing here, it looks like there's no cooldown on this. Alright, moving to the ultimate. When activated, gains 30% penetration immediately, triggering 1 talent special attack. And the ultimate lasts for 25 seconds. During the ultimate, increases the X attack chance to ignite Meteor Shrapnel to 100%. So it basically means that every 3 hits, once he gets the Meteor Bolt, the 4th hit will actually ignite the X, the Meteor Shrapnels, and trigger the X. And what's going to happen as well is that in that hit that triggers it, it's going to refuel his bolts, and then 2 attacks later, he releases the bolts. So in a nutshell, every 3 attacks, he's basically going to be triggering the special X attack. You can see here 1. Oh, that's a bit slow. 2. Okay, he doesn't even do it. But let's see from the start here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is not a good test. Anyways, we will go into the kits to actually see how these mechanics work. But before we jump into that, he does have an exclusive artifact like all other units that are being released in this collab. Increases damage by 25%, and during the ultimate, reloads 4 Meteor Bolts when launching the Giant X attack. So it basically means that he needs only 2 attacks every time he does his ultimate with the exclusive artifact. And he's just gonna straight up get, 1 Giant X trigger every 3 attacks, I guess. Yeah, but without this, it's gonna be every 4 attacks. So very broken artifact. I think it's same level in terms of power level as with Count Dracula, which is great. And they'll probably give this away for free as well, given that the trend has been that most new units that actually have exclusive artifact, they'll be available in some way for us to redeem through a shop or through a shop fusion or something like that. So that's nice. Alright, Awakenings A1. When enemies take Meteor Shrapnel blast damage consecutively within 5 seconds, the shrapnel damage, blast damage dealt to them increases by 20%. This is great because it's gonna be a big part of his kit that's doing the damage. And I think this was stacked with the, let's see. Yeah, this is gonna stack with the ultimate, obviously. So every single blast that he does is just gonna get that 20% damage increase, especially during the ultimate when you can trigger it consecutively within 5 seconds. A2 300 attack, that's always great for a unit with a low base like his. And then A3 extra ultimate duration, 5 seconds only, not too high, because considering the fact that the ultimate is actually 25 seconds, is it that big of a deal? I don't think so. I think A2 might be the bigger deal here, unfortunately. Sorry, A1. And then A4 is going to be penetration. Oh, okay, it's not penetration. It's all damage by increased by 8%. I'm guessing no penetration because the ultimate already has it. And then A5, during the ultimate, reduces attack interval by 30%. I think that's pretty straightforward. You just straight up, are getting a lot more damage when, you're doing the ultimate at A5 because you trigger the shrapnels a lot easier. I'll say A3 looks like the least impressive. I would have expected like 10 seconds increase, like with Zilla2 and all that. 5 seconds is like just a 20% increase, so I don't know how much value that is. It really depends on how we test it and see how much the shrapnel blast actually does in terms of damage. So yeah, that's his kit. We're gonna test him in a bit here. We're gonna run a few tests and see where to go, where we can actually use him. Obviously, GR3 is gonna be great. Zerbus Matrix as well. And then we also have Anti-Air Arena. There's some potential there. His cost is a bit high, unfortunately, but let's see what we can do there. But yeah, let's get into it. First thing that we're gonna test out is gonna be his mechanics, how each of the special attacks work. what to make sense out of it. So what we're gonna do is go into the easy Guild Boss 1, and we're gonna see how each of his procs happen. And yeah, let's get in. I'm gonna place him in. Not gonna attack any of the platform units, so that's great. And see, that's 3 attacks. So that's gonna be the mithril boats all done. And now he's gonna trigger his special attack, and you can see once the shrapnels are on, he gets the vulnerability off, and then he does the X attack to follow afterwards. And you can see very briefly after the X attack actually took place, there was a 10k smack at the end. I believe that was the mithril shrapnel actually exploding. 1, 2, 3, X, and then you can see the extra hit afterwards. So I think it makes it pretty clear cut there. And then during his ultimate, I'm gonna trigger it. He's gonna do the thing instantly, X attack, second attack, and the third one is gonna trigger the mithril boat because he has his exclusive artifact. And his exclusive artifact is probably the best in slot item here because it basically gives him 2/3 of the usual loading speed since he has 1 out of 3 less set of boats to actually load up. So yeah, let's take a look at another stimulation so that you can see simulation so that you can see how the kits actually work, because it's very distinct in terms of the damage that he does. The basic attacks are individual hits to different units, whereas the X's are the ones that do the AOE damage. So let's try to see if we can spot the shrapnels actually exploding. And I think the special attacks is very clear. It's when he fires the mithril boats, that's considered a special attack. Because the X's are triggering after those special attacks. It's not going to be dependent on the shrapnels actually exploding apparently. So let's put in the spiders, see what they do. So he's going to proc his ultimate right away, and then there's going to be 100% proc on the shrapnel explosions. Proc that. 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to get the X in. And then there's the follow-up shrapnel explosion because it's 100% trigger. 1, 2, and then he's gonna get the triggers coming off again. There we go. X blow, and then the shrapnel's happening right after that. I think it's pretty clear cut. He's gonna go one more off, and then we want to see off the ultimate whether the shrapnels are gonna proc. Or is it gonna be 30%? Shrapnels again, 2, 3, slam, and you can see we don't actually get, yeah, there we go. You can see the shrapnel blast only happening after that. So, is it a big damage difference? I don't think so actually, because it's 150%. After all, at the end of the day, you are more reliant, I think, on the 600% X hits that come in from his passive. And I do think that the big synergy with his ultimate is actually in the exclusive artifact, where he actually only needs to reload 2 sets of boats of 4. So basically he only needs to attack twice before he launches his special attack again. Versus if you want to do without his exclusive, then it's going to be 3 attacks. But bear in mind, it's only during the ultimate, which is why I say that, you know, his ultimate, the 100% chance to actually proc the shrapnel, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because the mithril shrapnels exploding only do 150% AoE damage versus the big axe that does the 600% AoE damage. I really think that the ultimate just pairs really well with his exclusive that reloads the boats, which means that he does way more X attacks. In fact, I think it's, you can say it's 50% more than, you know, what he usually does. Yeah. And the execution and all that, I think we can really only see that being tested out in Zerbus Matrix, unfortunately. I mean, even in GR3 maybe, but in this the simulations that we have so far, it's not really gonna be that important. So yeah, that's enough testing for this. Now let's move on to the actual content. Alright, so the first test that we're going to run through is basically GR3-24. We're going to see, obviously, if Dr. Van Helsing can clear off the left side, because that's what the AOE marksmen do. And we're going to see at what awakening he can do so, because right now with Nyx and Kai, you're going to need A3 at the bare minimum to actually get through the left side. With Dr. Van Helsing, it seems like the awakening requirements are a lot lower. So we're going to test exactly that. This is going to be the lineup. The focus here is really on the left side, so you can ignore what we're seeing here, the A5 Alex and all that. I think what's important here is knowing that on the left side, we only need an A0 unit to actually get by that. I think that's becoming rarer and rarer these days, especially when awakenings are crucial in almost all the endgame content that we see. You have Abyss, where you need A5 Wukong, A5 Kikiri, which is just not that easy to obtain. Okay, Alex down first. This is your standard Piercer setup with GR3-24. The only difference is the left side hero that we're using. That's the ultimate. Go. And just wait for the ultimate to come out on Silas. Set this up, proc that ultimate. Okay. Get all that off. And now we just wait actually for the spawns to come out. Once one spawn comes out on the side there, we proc the ultimate. And we put down Dr. Van Helsing. And Erlis facing to the right. And let's go ahead to proc his ultimate. So Alex is hitting for like 400k per single hit. And Dr. Van Helsing with his big axes, 562k, so fairly impressive damage. And now we're gonna proc this ultimate here. We need to get the marks going off on this guy. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going off on him. We might actually lick through, but it's fine. Just want to test the potential of the left side damage here. It's just not proccing on that last guy at all. That lick through, that's fine. No more units left. This Alex procs should start hitting the left side from here on. There we go. Okay, very nicely done.
Let my curse work in our favor. Our shadows can't hide you.
You were simply no match for me.
Things up a bit here, because just basically waiting for the last set of mobs to come out. There we go. Gonna proc his ultimate right away.
Take shelter behind my bow. My prayers will guide you. You were simply no match for me.
See the big hits coming off there. It's actually clearing almost half of the wave already. And that's pretty impressive. Because normally, with Nyx and all that, you're really testing the limits there. He's gonna get off another ultimate, I guess.
Man must believe what he cannot understand.
My prayers will guide you.
Barely clearing it.
My prayers will guide you.
I think the Alex procs were not the greatest here, but I do believe that if I think
Can for now.
had better RNG, it would have probably cleared the right sides a bit better. And yeah. Pretty impressive considering that Dr. Van Helsing is just A0 here, and he's able to clear through the left side with ease. And then the problem there was that we had no procs on the on Lady Alexandra at all. But if we were to actually get some awakenings on him here, like his A1, A2, or even A3, I think he could definitely clear through the left side a lot easier. I think the bigger question then is, you know, how will his summoning mechanics be like, and whether he will be here in the game long term, or will we only get to summon him within a certain period. So yeah, that's GR3 tested out for you. He is definitely going to be run in a Piercer faction here. Even in other areas of the game that we're going to be testing him, I don't think Nightmare is very strong at the moment. Like, we have a lot of single target damage dealers, but not much AOE damage dealers, which is what Van Helsing specializes in. So no, not much synergy with the Nightmare faction, but I think for sure he's gonna come in handy in the Nightmare Trials. So yeah, that's the test for GR3. Let's move on to the other stuff. Okay, so the next test that we're gonna obviously do is gonna be Arena. I don't have much high hopes here for Van Helsing because we have units like Nyx and Kai. Both of them fall short of, you know, what a unit like Langshan could do. And I think right now, even on test server, I'm not able to find a team that can actually beat this setup if, let's say, I were to use Yuri. So we'll use Langshan instead, but I just want to show you guys in terms of damage output, where he sits, because we're going to put him all the way on the right side, where he can actually deal his AoE damage. But I don't think it's nowhere, anywhere as near as what Nyx could actually deal out in terms of just burst damage, because the ultimate uptime for Dr. Van Helsing is just not too long. It's only 25 seconds. So first round, we're obviously going to lose to Velara because of the cost difference. 6 costs. She's always going to be placed down earlier than the other guys. Gonna proc the ultimate here. Hopefully help us to proc the second one. Does it not? So what's going on here? Okay, there we go. Go. The next unit we're gonna put down is obviously a Langshan because it's way lower cost than what we had there. Okay, it's down. We wait for a bit before we proc the ultimate. Not sure why it didn't reach the last guy. Instead it reached the first two, but it's fine. Let's snipe that down really quickly with Langshan's vulnerability.
By the sun and stars, we will prevail.
Proc.
You are simply no match for me.
There we go. Ever so slightly faster than the other guy.
Much work to do.
Is this how you treat a lady? Slay them, darling.
And there we go. So Langshan's ultimate is almost down. What's gonna happen next is we're gonna pop Van Helsing's ultimate. See if you can actually burst the mobs down before they come out. Nope, still slower than Velara with the burst. Because his range is going forward, it's not expanding to the side. There's no way that he can actually outdo Valara in that sense. Okay, there we go. Nothing too crazy there, to be honest. Now we almost have the ultimate up on both of these guys. Gonna do NTAwNjM first. And do Van Helsing. By the time that happens, we're left with the last few mobs. Drop the ultimate here. That's gonna clear it quickly for us. Van Helsing doesn't get his ultimate up in time to actually clear out the last wave. So, having a couple of problems here. First of all, is the fact that we can't actually place a rage regen unit here. So he doesn't get his ultimate up in time. And very clearly, he's not the one killing a lot of the units here. It's mainly NTAwNjM and Alexandra doing most of the damage. So he's not getting rage back because he's not killing any units with his X attack. So he's not proccing his second passive. And I won't be surprised, yeah, there you go. Lowest damage on the charts here. Obviously, NTAwNjM went down first. But I don't have a lot of hope in terms of how strong he'll be here. Because right now the meta is everything here, except for instead of using Van Helsing, you actually use Yuri instead. And Yuri is just going to have that ultimate burst that exceeds her own usual range. Similar to Alexandra, but much more predictable. If let's say I were to remove NTAwNjM and use Yuri and Alexandra, I don't think the difference is actually Van Helsing. Like, I don't think he's going to do much. So we can always test that out. If let's say we remove NTAwNjM, if we just switch to a Yuri here, see how that works out. Go. And let's see how that works. My guess is that we will clear so much faster than Corey's team. We won't even make it to round 9. Because I don't think his team is set up optimally here. It's not the best way to do it. So put Yuri down.
I'll show you how it's done.
It's gonna be placed at the same time as Lara, that's the good thing. We lose a lot more a lot lesser HP here.
Darling.
You just 4%. 6%. Oh, that's fine. He kills so fast. We don't even get to proc the ultimate here. So that's a shame because we usually want to use that ultimate to our advantage. But yeah, anyways, you guys get the point. Kill that faster. And once that's all done, we are gonna put Alex down. I think I'm gonna clear slower than the enemy this time around because Alex just came through. Proc the ultimate there, just nice, and we get to clear this out before they even start moving on the right side here. Gonna take a lot of damage. I don't think the team is set up well here. Something is off. Definitely not what we usually see. Put down Van Helsing here. Go.
Is this how you treat a lady?
You were simply no match for me.
And now I shed my skin.
A lot faster. Again. And now we get to this bit where we can actually proc his ultimate. Yeah, you can see that we're still slower. This placement just doesn't allow him to do his ultimate thing.
In power, you were simply no match for me.
And now I shed my skin.
I don't think he's gonna make it past wave 8. Die here. But yeah. We're gonna see the damage charts once again. I don't think Van Helsing did much damage at all. Yeah, it's actually even lesser than the last round. Yuri is actually the top damage dealer right now, and then followed by Lady Alexandra. So arena testing wise, I don't think he's gonna beat Erlangshen. Erlangshen is gonna be just vastly better than him. But if let's say we're talking about the left side of Garrett 3, then obviously this guy is way better. He does way more damage in that scenario, but right now in arena with the placements that we have available, I just don't see a way that we can actually use him to, maximum potential, at least for now. So yeah, that's arena. You can set this up to get people to test it, but I don't think it's gonna make a difference. I mean, we could set up the other one where we do Erlangshen without Yuri instead, but then that's just gonna prove that Yuri is freakishly strong. Erlangshen is gonna be very strong. So yeah, that's the arena test. Let's move on to the last one, which is gonna be Zerbus Matrix. Alright, the very last thing we're gonna test with Dr. Van Helsing here is gonna be in Zerbus Matrix. With the execute in order, I think that's probably the best place that you could possibly use him. And we're gonna be running this team. We can't squeeze Northerner in because you have Van Helsing in the mix. You're gonna need Piercer, and Nurture is just simply too good for us to ignore here. So let's see how far this run can actually get us. Yeah, what we're gonna try to do here first is to give everyone inspiration, make sure they're all in the range, and then we'll do one executor on each side. Cool. Do Erlang over here, Lula, Raylin. Earless, and then Iova, let's just do him facing to the left here to support Nurture at the side. Go. Let's see how this goes. My concern is just Nurture may not be able to solo DPS this thing, but let's see. See the hammers coming through there. But yeah, Nurture not dealing enough damage there. No execute and whatnot. Go with the chain fusion. And okay, that's done. I'll move on to the next phase. See how well this team can fare. With the chain fusion again here, but I think we should be able to kill off everything. The next wave is gonna start to become a struggle. And let's see what we're doing in terms of damage. Nurture right at the top, no surprise there. He is, after all, one of the strongest units for this phase at the moment. Van Helsing following close, and Erlangshen. And bear in mind that Van Helsing is actually A0 here. Obviously on higher awakenings it's going to be doing slightly better. Yeah, I think the main problem we have here is Nurture not being able to clear enough of the left side away. Get chain fusion again. Clearly struggling with the mobs here. And yeah, I think we're just going to get wiped. There we go. So not the highest score, but I think you guys get my point. if let's say you're gonna squeeze in piercers, we need more than Van Helsing and Erlangchen to actually make this count. I mean, the stronger powerhouses in this mode right now is actually Ardea, Kigiri, Durza, and you could squeeze in a Kigiri here for sure. But then what happens then is that you lose out on all the support units. Maybe you remove the Tallulah, squeeze in a Kigiri, but it's still gonna be a problem where you struggle on the left because these two units are just not keeping up to the later parts of Zerbus. At 4k base attack on Van Helsing, I think he's just simply not cutting it. I could be wrong. Let me know down in the comment section if you think there's a better way to test this, or you think that he needs to be in combination with some units to actually get this done. But my take is that piercers are just not ready for it. You have way better options in the Northerners. You have Ardea, you have Elder, you also have Crutch as well. I think all those units are going to be outperforming what we see here on the piercer side of things. I mean, you could run him Lordless, but it's going to be far less than ideal to actually do so. So yeah, that's the Zerbus test. I know it's very brief, but honestly, I just don't see the potential there. I don't think he's living up to the damage. And if let's say you were to run him, I think the best way to do is to do it Lordless. So you do this Lordless, you do it Ardea and Elder over here instead. His execution is going to come in very handy in just supporting to clear out the mobs on the side. And then Nurture and Kigiri can be on the other side instead to manage the mobs that come out from there. Yeah. Let's actually move on to wrap up the video. Alright, so that's Dr. Van Helsing. The good thing about him compared to Count Dracula is that he is probably going to be obtained from normal summons, which means that you can probably get him from Divines as well. So two different avenues to actually summon for him. And that's good in just from the accessibility point of view. Okay? And when you compare it to Count Dracula, you know, I think that for the average person, Van Helsing is just going to help in terms of progression a lot more. Because he's going to be an AOE marksman that is just strong from the get-go at A0. You don't need him at high awakenings to function, especially in 324. And I think that's great news. And his exclusive artifact is insanely good. I think it could be one of the best. I think it could be the best one actually in terms of just straight up damage output, because you just get way more of the X swinging down when you don't have to reload 3 times. You only do it 2 times instead. Whether you should summon for him, I think it depends on the account, the way that these heroes are going to be released. Whether it's going to be limited edition in the sense that you can only summon them during the collab period, or whether they will just forever be in existence, that we don't know for sure. But he definitely impresses me. I think he's one of the most promising units. At A0, he can take care of 324 on the left side. In Arena, not so much. I think he's more consistent than burst damage, and he pretty much sticks to his range. And in Zerbus, I think he could work. The problem is really the faction. Nightmare faction is not great there. And then with Piercer faction, you don't have a better DPS. I think Van Helsing is the best DPS that you can get there. With those in the mix, you know, it's just simply not working. Maybe Lady Mina, it could be different, but I've done a few rounds of testing and it's just simply not cutting it as of this very moment. So why summon for him? I think it depends on the mechanics. If he's going to be here to stay in the game permanently, I think you could wait out for something else if let's say you are not in need of an AOE marksman. But otherwise, definitely grab him. He looks insanely cool. Really like the artwork on him here, especially with his axes. The details on this is crazy. He's just Lucius on steroids. And it's really a shame he doesn't have a video, an intro video here. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on Dr. Van Helsing. I think he's probably the most promising unit out of all in terms of usability. The question is just how the summon mechanics are going to be like. Whether you should spend some summons on him or should you save up for future banners. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.